Welcome to Arsenal Analysis. Thank you for joining us today. If you've seen this intro before, feel free to skip to this timestamp. I plan to cover everything in Warframe's arsenal in this series. I do not follow the meta of Warframe as well. Honestly, you can get pretty far in this game using some of the worst weapons in the game as long as you have a good build for them. That being said, this series is to discuss which weapons are good, which ones are not, and we will be taking Rivens into account. However, they will not be the deciding factor on whether a weapon's good or not, as they can be tricky to get, and I don't really feel comfortable rating something that not everyone can get a hold of too terribly easily. That being said, thanks again for joining us, and let's get on with it. So today we're talking about the Ack Brunt, the first sword and board of this series. Well, technically it's not a sword, but it falls under that category, alright? Anyways, so the Ack Brunt doesn't have any variants, though with it being a Grineer weapon, we might actually get a Kuva variant of it one of these days. However, it does have an Incarnon adapter, which is kind of like a variant, I guess. To get the Ack Brunt, you actually get it from the Chem Lab in the dojo. As far as crafting goes, it's 65,000 credits, 5 Detonite Injector, 7,500 Salvage, 3,300 Cryotic, and 1 Forma. All in all, it's not too bad, although I will say if you're a new player, the Detonite Injector and the Cryotic are probably going to give you a headache, so bear that in mind. As for base stats, it has .833 attack speed, 2.5 range, 298 slam attack, 149 slide attack, combo duration of 5 seconds, follow through of 60%, blocking angle of 70 degrees, critical chance of 20%, critical damage of 2 times, status chance of 10%, 119.2 slash damage, 14.9 impact damage, 14.9 puncture damage for a total of 149. Heavy attack is 745 damage, and heavy slam attack is 447 damage. As for the Incarnon adapter, well, there's actually quite a bit to talk about there. But let's start with Evolution 1. This simply gives you the ability to have an Incarnon form. Once you hit 6 times combo, you do a heavy attack and initiates the Incarnon form for 90 seconds. During said 90 seconds, you gain 100% melee damage, plus 20% sprint speed and parkour velocity, as well as you have a throwable axe during aerial attacks and slide attacks, which is actually quite fun. As for Evolution 2, you have 2 options. You have Templar's Wrath, which increases your base damage by 150, and then if you have armor over 450, you get plus 70% heavy attack efficiency. The other one is Shield Maiden's Rush, which gives you 150 base damage, and on Shield Break, you get plus 300% combo count chance while blocking for 11 seconds. As for level 3, you get 3 options. You have Auric Reach, which gives you plus 0.7 range. You have a Biting Hold, which is combo timer pauses when weapon is holstered. Very nice, honestly. And you have Swift Break, which is plus 70% heavy attack windup speed. And then for Evolution 4, you also have 3 options. Versatile Creed, which increases your base critical chance by 9%, and your base status chance by 9%. You have Absolute Valor, which increases your base critical chance by 17%, and you have Rogue Readiness, which gives you on kill plus 50% for primary and secondary weapons to be instantly reloaded. The Ack Brunt does have a unique trait, that being blocks absorb 4 hits of elemental damage and applies 17.5% of that damage to the next attack. In practice, I don't really notice this, but it is neat. As for my build, I have 11 Storm for my stance, Discipline's Merit for my Tennokai. I have melee exposure, mainly because I don't have too many of the melee arcanes yet. But honestly, I do enjoy that one on this one. I do have a Riven, as you could probably see over there. That one gives critical chance, damage to Grineer, and attack speed. But I do have 141% crit chance on my build, which is very nice. Blood Rush is a good way to go on this thing. As for my Incarnon levels, I actually have... Obviously, level 1 is the one that you can have, and that's it. But for Evolution 2, I have Shield Maiden's Rush. For Evolution 3, I have Abiding Hold. And for Evolution 4, I have Absolute Valor. I'm not the biggest fan of Sword and Shield in this game, but the Ack Brunt's not too bad. I do have some level of fun with that. I hardly ever use it either way, because again, I'm not the biggest fan of Sword and Shield, but This is definitely one of the better ones. Actually, I'd argue that this is probably the best one. As for Rivens, well, I actually have to thank Peapod Claw for mine. I wanted to hurry up and get a Riven for this video because of the fact that it's an Incarnon weapon with a disposition of 5, which usually means the Rivens are going to be pretty crazy. They tend to be on the Incarnon weapons. But anyways, yeah, thank you to them for the Riven. But anyways, Rivens are absolutely worth it on the Ack Brunt because of the fact that, well, it's an Incarnon weapon with 5 disposition, as I just mentioned. But honestly, I don't know how long the Incarnon weapons are going to stay as high of a disposition as they are. I hate to say this online, because I feel like, you know, if they catch wind of this, I doubt they would, because I'm not that popular. But anyways, if they manage to catch wind of this, they might actually do something about it. But anyways, yeah, no, it's kind of crazy to me that some of the strongest weapons in the game right now have as high of a disposition as they do. I understand it's because without the adapter they kind of need it, but oh my god. Anyways, Ack Brunt is absolutely worth getting one for if you can. And the nice thing is it probably won't cost you too terribly much because it's not one of the meta weapons, as good as it is. So bear that in mind, honestly. So, closing thoughts on the Ack Brunt. Well, I'm not the biggest fan of Sword and Shield, as I mentioned earlier in this video. Mainly because of stances. That's just kind of how I am with melee weapons in general in this game. If it doesn't feel good to use, I'm not going to use it. I'm weird when it comes to the stances. But I will say the Ack Brunt is easily my favorite of the Sword and Shield. Ack Brunt's actually kind of fun to use with the Incarnon, especially with those, you know, spectral axes. Being able to just hurl an axe across the room it's just great. It's a lot of fun. And I will say, honestly, anyone that likes Sword and Board in this game, I would heavily recommend acquiring this with the Incarnon adapter. Without it, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. But with the Incarnon, it's fantastic. It's actually a lot of fun to use. With or without a Riven mod, it's actually pretty solid. It's a hell of a lot better with one, of course, and as I mentioned, with it being 5 disposition, you're going to want to try to get one if you can. I mean, I got mine for 45 Platinum unrolled, so it shouldn't be too horrible for you guys to get a hold of one. Thankfully. I know a lot of the Incarnon ones are crazy expensive, so honestly, there you go. Thank you all for watching, and have a good one.